Good for you, too. You'll want to invite some friends over when you prepare this menu, so grab your paper and pencil, and I'll be right back. I look forward to weekends because generally it's slower paced and my husband is usually home, and we always enjoy just relaxing together and cooking in the kitchen, just a kind of a slow-paced brunch. So we don't have to get up early, and he always comes up with some unique recipes. He's actually a very good cook. When I create a recipe, I generally will have potatoes because potatoes is one of my favorite foods. I'm going to share a recipe that I just love. It's called crispy potatoes. For this recipe, you will need 4 cups of potatoes, steamed and diced, 3 tablespoons of yeast mixture, and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Now for the yeast mixture, you will need 1 cup of nutritional yeast flakes, 1/3 cup of chicken-style seasoning, and 2 teaspoons of dried parsley. I'll begin by mixing my yeast mixture into a mixing bowl. This is 1 cup of the nutritional yeast flakes. Then I'll take 1/3 cup of the Micheff's chicken seasoning, and this does not have any real chicken in it at all, but it just gives it a really nice flavor. And then the dried parsley. And mix that up real well. And I have already boiled my potatoes and diced them. You can steam them if you want, or you can boil them. And I will take the olive oil and just drizzle it over the top. And then gently toss the potatoes, just gently mix them around to coat them with the oil. And it does not take a lot of oil. I try and make things as low fat as possible. But you do need some oil, and olive oil is very good for you. Now we'll take the yeast flakes and just sprinkle them over the potatoes like this. And you do not have to use all of this because this is a lot of, you can save this and put it in a bag and use it for another time. And you want to coat all the potatoes and get them evenly coated. I think I will put a little bit more in, because it looks like they weren't quite coated just as much as I like. I like a nice coating on them because I love the flavor. Okay, we'll take a baking sheet, and you'll want to spray this with a non-stick baking spray. Or you can oil your pan just a little bit if you want, if you don't have the spray. Either way, you just do not want, and even if you have a non-stick baking pan, you'll still, oh goodness, maybe you better get the oil and just oil it, or not use a spray as I did. If you have one of those baking pans that have the non-stick surface to it, still oil your pan or use some spray because it helps the potatoes to crisp up more. And just spread this on your cookie sheet, and you'll want to bake this in the oven at 400 degrees for at least 30 minutes, and you'll need to stir them a couple times just to make sure that they're getting evenly browned. And I'll show you what they look like. I did a little bit before the program. See how nice and crispy they are? And I love the flavor, just the crispness of them, and then the flavor. Now, the next recipe I want to share with you was inspired by my husband because he's always coming up with these concoctions that he does on the weekends, and he stir fries all kinds of different vegetables, and it always comes out different. Well, I thought I'm going to try and create something like that. So let me share this recipe with you. It's for a veggie stir fry. And you will need 1 cup of onions diced, 5 cloves of garlic, 1/4 cup of parsley chopped, jalapenos, 1/2 pound of water-packed tofu, the firm, 1 cup of picante sauce, 1/2 cup of veggie burger, 3 tablespoons of canola oil, and 12 corn tortillas torn. Now I've already placed the 3 tablespoons of canola oil into this frying pan, and I've placed the diced onion in. This is 1 cup of diced onion. I'm going to turn my heat up and let it start frying a little bit more. I'll take the, let's see, this is a 1/2 cup of veggie burger. I like to use the Ives veggie burger, but you could use whatever type of veggie burger that you want. This is the Ives, though. And we'll let that saute. And you can add the garlic to that. I'm only going to add half this garlic because I don't want a whole lot of garlic. I don't like a real strong garlic flavor. Unless, of course, I'm having bruschetta, and that's my all-time favorite. And we'll take the tofu. Now, this is the water-packed firm tofu, and I drained all the water off, the liquid that it was packed in, and then you just kind of crumble it up with your hands, and we'll put that into our skillet and let that saute too. Just kind of, and if it looks like I didn't get it totally mashed or crumbled, so we'll crumble it a little bit more and let that fry just a little bit. Now, you'll want your tofu to get brown. By brown, I mean a really nice golden color, and you'll want it to be a little crispy. It gives it a really nice flavor. While this is sauteing a little bit, go ahead and add your corn tortillas because you want them to be crispy too. So we'll tear them like this, and we'll break them into pieces and let them saute with the rest of the mixture. Now you could add some diced red pepper if you'd like, and my husband gets very creative, and he will add corn, he'll add leftovers from the fridge, he adds all kinds of things. And surprisingly, I don't think I've ever not liked a creation that he's come up with. So if you want to add more to this, go ahead, be creative. This will just give you a start, something to, actually it's very good just like this, but if you want to be creative and add some more, you can. And now you can add your fresh parsley, and if you don't have fresh parsley, you can add the dried parsley. That's just fine. It gives it not only a nice color, but a nice flavor too. And then I'll add the picante sauce. Like that. And get that mixed up very nicely. Now, while this is sauteing in the skillet, because you want this to be brown and a little crispy, so while this is doing that, I will go ahead and share another recipe with you. This is buckwheat pancakes without dairy products. So let me read that recipe for you. For this, you will need 1½ cups of unbleached flour, 1/2 cup of buckwheat flour, 1 tablespoon of Rumford baking powder, 1/2 cup of salt, 1/2 cup of soy milk powder, 1/2 cup of canola oil, 1/4 cup of pure maple syrup, and water. You'll want to begin by adding your dry ingredients first. So we'll add our 1½ cups of unbleached flour, our half a cup of the buckwheat flour, and this gives it a really nice flavor. And the 1 tablespoon of, I'm sorry, 1 teaspoon, I was right, wasn't I? Good night. I'm really messed up here. 1 tablespoon of the Rumford baking powder, a half teaspoon of salt, and then the 1/2 cup of soy milk powder. I use the Better the Milk powder, but use your favorite brand. I know my sister Linda uses the Soy Good brand, but that's just totally preference and the type of flavor that you like and what's available in your area. Make a little well in the center, and to this add your half a cup of canola oil, your 1/4 cup of pure maple syrup, and then you'll want enough water to make a consistency, a batter consistency. So let me grab my water over here, and we'll add just a little bit. You don't want it real liquidy, but you do not want it to be like that's going to be way too dry. So we'll go ahead and add a little bit more water and stir that up very carefully. Oh, a little more, because I'm getting it so still too dry, so I'm making a mess here. Okay, well, a little more. Now you could add, if you wanted to add a different type of flour and you didn't happen to like the flavor of buckwheat, you could add a whole wheat pastry flour if you wanted, or even an oat flour would be very good to this. My husband loves buckwheat, so that is why I chose the buckwheat. Almost got it ready here. And then you'll want to spoon it into a hot skillet. And I've already got my frying pan hot. There we go. I've already got my frying pan hot, and I'm going to spray it just a little bit with a nonstick baking spray, like that. And we'll spoon a little bit of it into the pan and spread it out just a bit. If you like a thinner pancake, then you could thin this down a little bit more with water. I like a thicker pancake, and so I am leaving it this thick. We'll do one more here. You could get creative and do all kinds of fun shapes if you wanted, which actually sometimes I do, just for fun, just to shake things up a bit. And when that starts to bubble, then you'll want to turn them. And what I serve them with, you could serve them with the pure maple syrup on top and some soy margarine, but I love homemade blueberry sauce. And my mom and dad grow blueberries. So they are always freezing blueberries and sending them to me. So I'm going to show you how to make a blueberry sauce, because that's the way we like to eat these. Let me share the recipe with you. For this, you will need 2 cups of blueberries, 1/4 cup of cornstarch, and 1 can of frozen apple juice concentrate. Before I start the blueberry sauce, let me go ahead and take these pancakes out because they're ready. Now this is what they look like when they're thick, but I'm going to show you how to, some thinner ones, because my kids do like them thinner. So I'm going to add just a little bit more water to our batter and make them thinner. They don't seem to like as thick as I do, so we're going to just, and I want you to show that how it looks when they're thinner. I'm going to do it just a little bit thinner. See how that kind of falls off the spoon. A little bit thinner. There we go. Okay, and I'll do just a few more. And I make them smaller for them. It's all in what you prefer. And when when it looks bubbly on this side, then it's time to turn them over. And this one's already starting to get bubbly. So I'm going to go ahead and look. Well, it's not quite ready, so let's go to our blueberry sauce. But I'll keep an eye on these because I don't want them to burn. For our blueberry sauce, you will take 1/4 cup of cornstarch and put that into a bowl. And I use the frozen apple juice concentrate because I don't like to use sugar in my blueberry sauce. And these blueberries, now even if they're not homegrown, blueberries usually are not very sour, so I don't add sugar because I don't want it to be very sweet. Add just a little bit of the apple juice concentrate into the cornstarch and mix that up very good. You want to get all the lumps out before we put it into the saucepan. Otherwise, you're going to have a very, you'll have quite a few lumps in it. So just get it all out like that. Then go ahead and add your apple juice concentrate into a small saucepan. And we'll put that down here. Add your 2 cups of blueberries. And you can add them frozen. A lot of times I don't take the time to let them thaw out. I just go ahead and oh, you know what? I better take a break and get my pancakes because they are, ooh, perfect. See that? Don't let me forget these, okay? We'll go back to our blueberry sauce. Don't let me forget those. You'll want to slowly add, and keep stirring the whole time. In fact, I'm going to use a spoon. Keep stirring the whole time that you're pouring in your cornstarch mixture. And you'll want to let this thicken. It does not take very long, so you'll want to really watch that and stir it. If your heat is on high, which this is not, if your heat is on high, then it gets thick almost right away. So we'll let that thicken up a little bit, and I'll take my pancakes out, except I need a plate. So let's get a plate here for these pancakes. Aren't those beautiful? And then you can decide if you like them thick or if you like them thin. And as you can see, there is a big difference between the thick and the thin, so it's whatever you like. Our blueberry sauce looks like it's about ready to get thick. See, it's starting to get thick on us. And as it thickens, the color will change and it will get pick up more of the blueberry color. See, it does not take long to thicken. And so we'll go ahead and turn our heat down because it's, as you can tell, it's starting to get into a really nice sauce. And you do not want it to burn. See how it's getting thick? And that, like I said, as it sits here, that color will deepen. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it down on low so that it doesn't burn, because that is as thick as you want it to be. And let me check our potatoes here. I mean our potatoes. Well, our potatoes are already done, aren't they? Let's go ahead and check the stir fry. See how this is getting really nice and crispy? And this is what I meant by brown, golden brown color. That's almost ready to serve. I have one more recipe I'd like to share with you, and these are sunshine orange muffins. So let me read the recipe for this. You will need 1½ cups of unbleached flour, 1/2 cup of whole wheat pastry flour, 1 tablespoon of Rumford baking powder, 1/2 cup of soy milk powder, 1 teaspoon of orange rind grated, 1/8 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 cup of pure maple syrup, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of canola oil, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and approximately 1½ cups of orange juice. The wonderful thing about these muffins is they not only taste good, but they don't have any dairy products in them. Let me show you how they are made. You will take your all-purpose flour, and this is 1½ cups of all-purpose flour, and then I use 1/2 cup of the unbleached whole wheat pastry flour. You'll need 1 tablespoon of the Rumford baking powder, 1/2 cup of soy milk powder. Now notice I'm mixing all my dry ingredients first. You want to make sure that you do all your dry ingredients first and get them combined and well mixed. I'm going to add the salt also. And this is what is this? 1 teaspoon of salt. Oh, I'm sorry, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. You wouldn't want that much salt in it, would you? And then I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon, just a little bit to add a nice taste to them. Make a well inside the center of the powder, and then add your canola oil. And this is 1/2 cup of canola oil. Add 1/4 cup of pure maple syrup. And this adds a little bit of sweetener, but these aren't going to be a real sweet muffin, which I like that. You'll need 1 teaspoon of the natural vanilla. And then you'll need the zest of 1 orange. Now, I want to show you how to get an orange zest for those of you who aren't familiar with that. You take a grater and an unpeeled orange, and you want to make sure that you wash your orange. And take your grater. You know, this would probably be better if I did this over another bowl, because I don't want to drop that orange into the bowl. And grate your orange. You'll have to press hard because you don't want to get the white. I'll show you when you get right down to the white. Oh, this smells so good. The oils in the orange skin are so fragrant. They smell wonderful. And you'll want to grate the whole orange, as much of the orange as you can. Now, you don't want to get too far down because you don't want the white pulp underneath this orange rind, because that's bitter. So I just wanted to show you how to do that. I have already done that for you ahead of time. So I'm going to add that right now. And you can see that it does make quite a bit. It probably makes a tablespoon. And we will stir this up. Now, I like to use fresh squeezed orange juice because my husband and I, in fact, he's always making fresh squeezed orange juice. That's something that he loves to do. So I have fresh squeezed orange juice. You can use just orange juice concentrate if you want, or just, that's fine. And you'll want to add enough orange juice to make a batter consistency. I already can tell I'm going to need a lot more here. But you don't want it real thin because remember, this is muffins. So this looks like it's going to be a good consistency. Let me just work in the rest of the flour. Now, you could make these in the little mini muffin tins if you wanted, and they are very cute. But I actually forgot that tin today, so we're going to make it in the larger ones. You can use paper liners if you want, but if you do not choose to use the paper liners, make sure that you really, really spray your pan good, because otherwise they're not going to come out of the pan. So we're going to spray these really good. And I'll just do a couple for you, just so you can. And we'll spoon this into our pan, into our muffin tin, just like this. And that's probably, you don't want them any fuller than that. That's about right. Now you will bake these, let me see, for at 350 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes, but check them because I really like to underbake things. It just makes it more moist and fluffy. And I have made some ahead of time, and let me show you what they look like. Isn't that a beautiful muffin? And it does not have any dairy products in it. That's what I really like about this. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll sit down and have brunch.
If you've enjoyed the recipes and cooking tips in this program, you'll want to order our Food for Thought resource sheet. We'll tell you how you can order the cookbooks you've seen used on this program, along with other information that will help you cook healthful, attractive vegetarian meals. For your free copy of our Food for Thought resource sheet, please write to us at Food for Thought, P.O. Box 220, West Frankfort, Illinois 62896, or call 618-627-4651.
Before I sit down, I want to show you how nice the blueberry sauce looks over our pancakes. Just always stir it up just a little bit before you get ready to serve it, because it has to get it well mixed. Look how pretty that is. I'm ready for company. I think I'll sit down and wait for our company to arrive. Look at how nice our table looks also. Always try and add a nice tablecloth and an arrangement just to make it look extra special. Your guests will feel special too. And if you're not having guests, your family will feel special. So go ahead, make that phone call and invite someone over to your home. That's the way you can share Jesus, by opening your home to others. That's all the time we have for now. But may your family and friends be blessed as they gather around your table.